A father told his daughter a bedtime story every day. So this time it was about a baby skunk called Roger. So none of the other animals would play with Roger because of his bad smell. So one day, tired of all this, the baby skunk decides to visit the wise owl for advice. So the owl sends him to a wizard who he thinks may help him with his problem. So Roger goes to the wizard and he tells him his problem and he asks for a solution. The wizard in turn says that he can help and that he can turn his smell to any smell he wants. So the baby skunk says, okay, I want my smell to be that of roses. The wizard says, okay, fine. Now Roger smells like roses. He's very happy, he goes home, he plays a lot with all his friends who love him now because he smells like roses. And then he goes home and his mother says, what is that god awful smell? So the skunk says, Mommy, I smell like roses now. So the mother is angry. She says, why do you smell like roses? I like the old you, how you were supposed to be. So she takes him back to the wizard and she hits the wizard over his head with an umbrella and she says, turn my son back as he was. So the wizard says, okay, and he once again goes, and the skunk is back as it was with his old smell and everything. So now the daughter to whom the father was reciting the bedtime story, she says that's wrong. Okay, she says that now none of the animals would play with Roger again. So she says that the mother should not have done that and she should take back what she did. So what do you think? Is she right? Or was the skunk's mother right to do what she did? Tell us in the comments. Well, I think the skunk's mother was right. Okay. In the short run, it does look like having roses smell is very nice and all because you can play with everyone likes you. But do you know why even a skunk's smell is like that? It is their only defense mechanism against predators. The mother knows that and that is why she changed him back, because with roses he'll be dead before he hits the road. Sad but true. So before I start, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. You see, what I was trying to tell you from this story that I have in my English textbook for class 12th is simply that a mother doesn't only think of the present. Whatever she says, though it may seem absurdly wrong at the moment, does have a good impact in the future. But hey, we don't care about that, do we? We want to ruin our lives in the future for temporary pleasure. No, we don't. Listen to us. Anyways, so have you heard of the famous quote about mothers that they carry you in their arms for some time and in their heart forever? Well, turns out not just metaphorically but literally also it's true for mothers. You see, during pregnancy, the placenta is connected to the umbilical cord, which is connected to the baby, through which the baby gets the nutrients and everything else it needs. But studies have shown that those are not the only things transported via the umbilical cord. Sometimes the baby's cells with its DNA also go into the mother's body and vice versa. The mother's cells also sometimes comes into the baby's body. So what this means is the baby's cells stay for decades in the mother's body, in almost every part of her body, in the heart, in the brain, everywhere. So she literally does carry the child in her heart for decades and almost forever. And the same is true for the child. You carry your mother's cells in your heart and in your brain. And not only are they there, just for emotional purposes, they actually have a really good advantage of being there. See, for example, say your heart is injured for some reason. The cells can actually change themselves, transform themselves to specializing heart cells which can actually save you from autoimmune disorders and even some cancers. Did you know that? If you didn't, hit that like button, please. And be grateful for what your mother is doing for you. You know what mistake we children do is we take our mothers for granted. Have you ever thought what life would be like without your mother? I bet you haven't. Try it out. And an even bigger mistake is what mothers do. They take themselves for granted. Stupid is that? Like, mothers, have you ever thought of, what would happen if you just stopped caring, sacrificing? I bet you haven't either. Just work day in, day out without thinking of yourself. Usual mom routine, stop for a second, think about yourself. It's good. And children, me, my brother, everyone, maybe you can help out every once in a while. It isn't so bad. There are no rules against that. Maybe do the dishes once in a while. If you don't know how to cook, don't cook. Your mother can't eat that. But still, maybe you can clean the house every once in a while. So whatever. Jokes aside, you should be grateful for what your mother is doing for you, and you should be a good son such that your mother is also grateful to have you as her child. It works both ways. So once again, a happy Mother's Day to my mama and to all the mothers out there, and we'll see you next time.